Hello, my name is Gloria Garrett. I am the mother of makeup art. And this is my show, Artist Highlights, where I interview Baltimore artists. I am here today with Noelle Imparato, and she's a Baltimore artist that I met at Force. And when I first met her, it was like, wow, I think I don't met a kindred spirit. Really, it did. So
Yeah.
can you tell us how you came to Baltimore?
I came to Baltimore. Yeah, that's a good question. I spent actually 30 years in Los Angeles, even though I was born in France. And then we retired early, my husband and I. So we wanted to be able to do a third career kind of idea, but in France. So we moved to France and take care of my mother, who was kind of a little bit aging, and we were planning on transforming the family house, which is a big country house, into a youth center.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that was very nice. So I was teaching meditation and painting, and my husband, who is a Hollywood talent agent, was counseling and teaching English. And we had a niece who was a teacher in a high school in Paris, so she was sending us their kids. So we did that a little bit, but somehow with the family it didn't work out. So we wanted to go back to the US. And since my husband is from New York, we decided we are not going to go back to the West Coast, we are going to the East Coast. And he had a brother in Baltimore. So we bought a house right around the corner from his brother.
I'd like you to tell us more about your painting, because I know you do healing paintings. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, the painting actually, I mean, I was trained as an architect in France. That was my first training for 4 years, and I did work as a drafting person. But my heart was more into art. More actually, I was more a spiritual seeker, and I thought I would do documentaries that would teach people about spirituality. Somehow I ended up in Hollywood, but then, it didn't really satisfy me. So at age 50, I went back to school. I got a PhD in depth psychology and mythology, a Jungian kind of a Carl Jung studies, archetypal image, and all that kind of a thing. And then as I was doing my dissertation, I took also some workshop in SLN Institute. I don't know if you know about SLN Institute, but it's a wonderful place in Big Sur, California on the coast. And they are known as like the granddaddy of this kind of a self-transformation center. They were kind of the first one in 1962, and the place is like heaven. I've never been in a more beautiful place, white on the cliff looking at the ocean. And there I did a workshop, and it turned out to be a painting workshop that was not exactly the kind of painting I learned in architecture school. There you are supposed to know exactly what you do, you prepare, you make sketches, you want to make sure it stands,
Yes, yes.
It's not going to be improvised.
Right.
Well, this was kind of like the opposite, You come and you look at the white page, and this is like Van Gogh, wow, the fear of the white page. Well, that's what you are confronted with, because you approach the white page without having any preconception, not from your controlling mind, from your kind of discoursing mind. You don't go there and say, oh, I'm going to paint a portrait of myself, or a portrait of my mom, or a beautiful tree, or anything like that. You come and you don't know what you are going to do, but what you do is you sort of take a breath, drop down into your inner self, your feelings, your emotion, your memories, even cellular memories that you don't really remember on a conscious mind.
That sounds peaceful.
Yes, it's peaceful, but it's very demanding because we are not so much used to do that.
Yes.
So if we go there, then that's what we do. We kind of quiet the mind, the surface mind that's always wanting to do something. Instead, we go into being present, right there, right now. And we wait to see, we listen to see what wants to come up, and this is very Jungian kind of a school type of work, shadow work. So the idea is, I think the psyche sort of express itself with images. So I personally never really work with abstract painting. When I listen to my feelings and emotions, it's like dreams. Do you dream abstract dreams? Probably not. You see a cat, a monster,
Right.
your mom, your son, your husband, yourself, or some strange creatures, but they are always sort of living beings, whatever they are. So that's the idea. You listen to yourself and see what kind of emotion wants to arise, and you let that arise, and then you work with that. So if you are not trained, and most people I work with are not trained, that's the idea. You don't want to train artists because it's even more difficult for them to forget about all what they've learned. This is about just coming straight out of your emotion and expressing them on a piece of paper in a very spontaneous, honest kind of a fashion.
It sounds wonderful. Like, I'm a self-taught artist, and I would love to try that.
Yeah, you should come.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun too, because it's play as well. It's like a kid. The kids, they haven't learned yet how to do a dog, but they want to paint their dog. They just go for it. And somehow it was, oh my God, it looks like
It make
your
you
dog,
feel good. You know what?
It's
Just
the energy
right.
that counts.
And what I just learned, the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. So you want to play. You want to get that wonderfulness out of you.
Yeah.
Because there's so much wonderfulness in you. And like you said, the only way you can do that, okay, is that peace. And I'm so glad that, you're teaching these workshops for people to do that, because now what the world going through now and its people, they need to quiet down their bodies. Now, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, for 1998.
So you've been doing it a long time.
20 years.
20 years. What are some of the benefits you have seen from it? You have seen people do this?
Yeah, people, it goes from one little thing to another, because depending how, it's not something you do once, it's like going to the gym, how much benefit you get from one time.
Yeah.
A little bit something, but not a whole lot, So if you come once, I think the first benefit you get is self-confidence, that you have an inner artist in you. Because a lot of people come and they say, oh, I'm not an artist. That's their first line. I'm not an artist. But no, you are an artist. Everybody has an artist, a creativity. It's just that we've been, pushed down, like your fourth grade teacher told you, you are not really good at it,
That's what my second grade teacher told me. They used to tell me, Gloria, you daydream all the time. And then I would be cutting my, I ain't tell you to cut it out like that. And then what that did was, seriously, what it did was, I'm like, oh, then I'm not an artist. And then I started writing poetry, and I didn't start painting again till I was 46 years old.
Exactly, you see? And that doesn't mean you didn't have it in you.
Right.
I mean, the teacher I learned from, she was told at art school in France, she was actually French, at the Beaux-Arts, well, you don't have it in you, look for something else, And then now she's taught this approach to painting to thousands of people, and, everybody benefits. So the first one is that, you kind of get back in touch with who you are, not like the little ego type of identity. We ask to sort of drop that, to go back into a deeper self. So as a deeper self, I come from the West Coast kind of a philosophy where we are more than just our social conditioning and physical, flesh and bone person. We have a soul, we have a connection to spirit. We have an energy, that's subtle energy, kundalini energy, chi energy. The American Indian people would call it the wind.
The wind.
Yeah, and in Africa they have all sorts of name for it also. But all shamanic tradition and ancient tradition, for them the world is alive. Everything is alive. And then, I got lucky because when I arrived in Los Angeles, somebody handed me a pure LSD, 350 grams. That's like a big load compared to what they do now, which is more like 50 milligrams. So I just took that and I wasn't sure what to expect. So I sat in lotus position and I closed my eyes and I just kind of paid attention to what's going to happen. I just was all expecting. Half an hour later, nothing much was happening, so I was a little disappointed, and then all of a sudden, it just happened, and energy, like everything, becomes like, oh, there's just no stopping it. So I said, okay, let's go with it. And I had a complete, full-blown out spiritual experience. I saw God like we used to say in the 60s and 70s, we are kind of one with God. So I got to a place, man, where there was no sense of self, no sense of time, no sense of space. Just nothing except you knew you were.
That's how I feel when I'm painting. So if you could feel that through painting, okay, it can be a healing.
Yes.
And my thing is, if you can help people do that, that's so, so important. How can they find out more about you?
I have a public Facebook and I do artist talk because I'm also writing a book that is talking about the paintings and my process of paintings and the transformation that I was able to go through. Of course, it took me 15 years of painting like this, as I was also teaching, but I was doing it with my people, because I'm not doing like 100 people class, I'm doing 5 people, that's about the average, 5 people, then you can really kind of work one-on-one and feeling intimate, and then we start opening up and we have a little check-in kind of a group. I can say a few things, but everybody kind of tell, how they feel right there, and then, then we meditate a little, we paint, and then we can also have a little group where we can share our experience, and then we draw the learning that we went through, we kind of bring back old memories. Like one memory came back through the painting, had been blocked for 50 years. Like trauma. Trauma, we deny trauma, we go into denial, especially as children, because it's too much. We just can't handle it, it's just no way, especially if the condition is not so warm and fuzzy,
Right.
So if we are all isolated and alone and like 9-year-old or something, what do we do with this thing? We don't know what to do. So it goes underneath and then not to be seen again. So painting sort of allowed me to bring back a lot of memory that were hard to deal with. And then the writing became part of the healing practice, because writing then allowed me to sort of, chew on all these things and kind of, dissect them a little more, and research also psychological things, and kind of make connections. The painting brings connections that I wasn't expecting. So then taking the time, to contemplate and meditate and think a little bit about all these things, and then I kind of did my own psychoanalysis, and then that sort of was going along with then the energy I was telling you about, this Kundalini energy. then I had like some big experiences, of opening up, So that was kind of wonderful.
I already talked to you about a workshop because I want to come to a workshop because it's just so much going on now, okay? And with me listening to the news sometimes and that stuff is in you, I just want to get it. I just want to get it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see a beautiful, peaceful world again out there, and that's so important. And we need that. And this healing painting, and I need you. Okay, this world needs you.
Yeah.
All right? So
Yeah.
I'm being there at your next workshop.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for sharing.
Oh, thank
I
you.
already
Oh,
feel
yeah.
the positive energy already. And this is what we need.
Yes.
We need to take away the pain.
And we need
take
to heal the world
But we
one
need to
person
heal
at
at
a
a time.
time,
Heal the
and that's
world
the
one
whole
person.
idea. We end up with a big group hug and we say, may all beings be happy.
But all beings being happy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so important. I like the
exactly.
fact that you're just doing 5 people at a time. So many times the classes be so big and they can't feel it. They can't get it.
Yeah.
Okay? But when you got 5 people, you get that one-on-one
Right.
attention that they need.
Yes.
And that's so wonderful. And I just want to say thank you, thank you,
Thank you. Oh, you're wonderful.
You're wonderful.